Let's stop pretending. Not all tears are innocent. Not every cry means she's hurting. Sometimes it's just a strategy, a weapon, a play from a playbook most men don't even realize they're in. You think she's breaking down because she's overwhelmed. Nah, she's breaking you down because she's losing the argument, because you're making too much sense, because you're not folding like she expected. This video isn't for the weak. It's for the men who are tired of being manipulated, tired of being labeled insensitive for seeing through emotional games. Because the truth is, many women cry not to heal, but to win. So sit tight and get ready. This isn't just a red pill. It's a full-course bitter truth meal. Let's break down 7 powerful reasons why a woman will use her tears, not as a reflection of pain, but as a shield, a sword, and a smokescreen. 1. She knows it stops you cold. The moment she starts crying, what do most men do? They freeze, backtrack, soften their tone, apologize for things they didn't even do. Why? Because as men, we've been conditioned to view a woman's tears as sacred, as untouchable. And she knows that. That's the first rule of emotional warfare. Cry to gain control. Let me paint it clearly. You're in a heated discussion. You've made a rock-solid point. Suddenly, her lips quiver, her voice cracks, and here come the tears. Now, instead of holding your ground, you're comforting her. Instead of following the logic, you're drowning in her emotion. The topic vanishes. Her accountability disappears. And you walk away thinking maybe I went too far. You didn't. You just hit a nerve she didn't want touched. Understand this. The tears aren't always about sadness. Sometimes they're about resetting the rules of the conversation. It's a power move dressed as vulnerability. And once you fall for it, once you shift into protector mode, the argument is over. She's not hurt. She's winning. 2. Tears shift the spotlight from her behavior to your reaction. You call her out. Maybe she lied. Maybe she disrespected you in front of others. Maybe she gaslit you one too many times. And just when you think she might own up to it, cue the waterworks. Suddenly, the conversation is no longer about what she did. It's about how you made her feel. This is emotional jujitsu. She flips the script so fast, you start questioning yourself. Now you're the bad guy. You're the aggressor. You're the reason she's crying. Doesn't matter if you caught her red-handed. Her tears are now the centerpiece. And if others are around, forget it. She knows exactly what those tears signal to the room. He must have hurt her. That's the unspoken narrative. You're guilty by default. Because society would rather crucify a man who speaks firmly than question a woman crying softly. Don't fall for it. The real damage isn't in your words. It's in the fact that you're finally seeing her patterns. And she can't have that. 3. She uses them to escape accountability. Let's be honest. One of the hardest things for a modern woman to do is admit she's wrong, especially in relationships. Instead of saying, I messed up, many will cry, shift blame, or play the victim. Why? Because accountability feels like loss to them. Tears, on the other hand, feel like a get-out-of-jail-free card. You confront her about her disrespectful behavior. Maybe she flirted with someone else in front of you. Maybe she made a slick comment about your finances. Maybe she posted something thirst-trappy for attention. Instead of acknowledging the disrespect, she breaks down. Now she's talking about how you don't understand her, how she's been going through so much, how she didn't mean it that way. Notice the pattern? Everything becomes about her emotions, never about her actions. And if you try to bring it back to the facts, she'll say you're being cold, uncaring, even emotionally abusive. Meanwhile, she's dodging the real issue like Neo in The Matrix. She'll cry, disappear into the bathroom, call a friend, or post vague, sad girl quotes on Instagram. Anything but take responsibility. Because in her world, being sad is safer than being honest. 4. She cries to trigger sympathy from outsiders, especially women. Let's talk about the court of public opinion. Because the moment she starts crying in front of others, especially other women, you're screwed. Doesn't matter what actually happened. The facts? Irrelevant. Logic? Buried. Once the tears flow, she's immediately cast as the victim, and you become the villain. And guess what? She knows this. She'll say something like, he just doesn't understand me. I tried everything, but he's always so cold. I didn't mean to upset him, but he just snapped. And just like that, the support floods in. Her friends, her mom, the group chat, even strangers on TikTok if she posts it. Now you're not just dealing with her emotions. You're dealing with an entire emotional army that thinks they know what happened based on one teary, cropped version of the truth. She's painting herself as a gentle flower, and you're the bulldozer who ran her over with your toxicity. The worst part? Even if you try to explain your side, you look like you're attacking a woman who's already broken. So you stay quiet. And that silence becomes her evidence. Don't underestimate how quickly tears can be used to manipulate public perception, especially when she knows exactly what she's doing. 5. She weaponizes past trauma to excuse present toxicity. This one's subtle but deadly. She's had a rough past. Maybe real trauma. Maybe a toxic ex. Maybe daddy issues. So now, anytime you challenge her behavior, she goes straight into, "You're triggering me. You sound just like my ex. This is bringing back old wounds." And cue the tears. What just happened? You went from holding her accountable to now carrying the emotional weight of every man who ever hurt her. Suddenly you're not just her partner. You're her therapist, her emotional punching bag, and her trauma sponge, all in one. You want to be compassionate, of course. You care, but the line between empathy and emotional manipulation gets blurry fast. Because now, she can say or do anything, disrespect you, accuse you, ghost you, and if you react, she cries and says you're just like everyone else. The tears are not about the moment. They're about controlling the narrative. If I'm the one hurting, then you're not allowed to be angry. But here's the truth. Past pain does not excuse present abuse. And tears don't cancel accountability. 6. She uses emotional breakdowns to buy time, not clarity. Ever notice how women sometimes cry mid-argument, leave the room, then come back later like nothing happened? That wasn't healing. That was a reset, a timeout, a reboot so she can come back with a new angle or guilt trip. It's not about processing. It's about buying time. She'll say, "I just needed a minute. I couldn't think straight when you were saying all that. Let's just drop it. I don't want to fight." Translation? She didn't have a comeback, so she pressed pause, not to reflect, but to escape the heat and return when you're softened up. Meanwhile, you've been sitting there rethinking everything, feeling guilty, losing your fire. Now she's at the upper hand because you're in comfort mode and she's in "let's pretend this never happened" mode. This is especially common when the woman knows she's wrong, but doesn't want to admit it. She'd rather cry, disappear for 15 minutes, than resurface acting calm and collected. Because now you look like the one holding on to the issue. It's not healing. It's hiding. It's not resolution. It's emotional timeout theater. 7. She doesn't want resolution. She wants surrender. And this is the final truth bomb. She cries not to find resolution, but to force your surrender. Real talk. If she genuinely wanted peace, she'd listen. She'd take accountability. She'd have hard conversations without needing to break down every time the truth gets uncomfortable. But many women don't want resolution. They want emotional dominance. They want to win, not understand. And tears? That's how they get there. The moment you raise a valid point, hold a boundary, or confront double standards, she shifts the whole energy. She'll cry. She'll get quiet. She'll play small. She'll act like you're attacking her soul instead of confronting her behavior. And if you keep going, now you look like the one pressing too hard. So what do? You fold. You drop the subject. You apologize for something she did. You let her off the hook because you're tired, confused, or emotionally blackmailed. And she wins, not because she was right, but because she played a better emotional game. Men, wake up. If her tears only show up during arguments, but never in moments of self-reflection or vulnerability, that's not healing. It's performance. She's not trying to grow. She's trying to control. If this hit hard, it was meant to. Because too many men are getting emotionally bulldozed and told to call it love. Too many are stuck in silent confusion, wondering why they feel like the villain for simply asking for respect. It's time to speak the truth without shame. Subscribe, like, comment, and share with brothers and sons who need this truth. You're not crazy. You're not cold. You're not wrong. You're waking up. This is Woman Unmasked. And we just ripped the curtain wide open.